This is going to be the first in a series of videos I do on family annihilators. If you are unsure what that is, it is a person who pretty much killed their family, and only their family. But heads up, I'm not pulling any punches on my disdain for the man covered in today's topic. While he isn't as bad as, say, John List or other family annihilators, he is up there. I will try to get all the facts out, but expect a lot of side comments and four-letter words sprinkled in. Chris Watts is a little bitch who had the perfect life. A caring wife, 2 beautiful children, a modest home, and his wife was expecting their 3rd child, which happened to be a boy. But like all little selfish bitches, he wanted things his way. By the way, you're going to see a running theme with these family annihilators videos. Most of them kill their families for selfish reasons. Chris Watts' reasons were a bit complicated and simple at the same time. Financial strain and arguments drove him to seek poontang from someone outside his marriage. And only caring about himself and what he wanted, he threw away his happy life for one behind bars. And he did so by taking the life of his wife Shannon, his daughters Bella and Celeste, and his unborn son Nico. Shannon Watts is interesting. She was born Shanann Catherine Razuk. I butchered that name. Go ahead and laugh, but here's the spelling of the name. Yeah, not laughing now, are ya? Anyways, she was born January 10th, 1984 in Passaic County, New Jersey. She was born to Frank and Sandra. She had a brother named Frank. She had been previously married to a man named Leonard Kim, but they divorced in 2009. In 2010, she met Chris Watts, and they married in 2012. For a while, she worked at a children's hospital in Colorado as a human resource specialist. But in 2016, she joined Lavelle, a fitness and health company. With Chris, she would have 2 daughters, and would have a son on the way. This fucking spoon was born May 16, 1985 in Spring Lake, North Carolina. His father's name is Cindy and his mother's name is Ronnie, which I could make a joke about gender swap names, but I want to get through this part fast because less time I have to talk about this guy that his mother should have swallowed before conceiving, the better. Anyways, Shannon and Bitch Boy married in Mecklenburg, North Carolina. He couldn't hold down a job for long, jumping from one job to another, till he found himself working for Anadarko Petroleum. Also, he apparently was nice and quiet at first, but I don't really care to find out more about him. Let's just move on to the other things. To quote Gordon Ramsay, he's a fucking donkey. So they ended up leaving North Carolina and making their way to Frederick, Colorado. There they would end up having first Bella Marie Watts on December 17, 2013. Then on July 17, 2015, Celeste Catherine Watts was born. A couple of months before Celeste was born, Shannon was diagnosed with lupus. And if you're a fan of House, that is ironic because normally it is never lupus. The house they lived in was a large 5-bedroom home. Shannon doted on her children. Looking at her Facebook, it was clear that she loved her children with all her heart. In fact, in 2018, she was expecting again, this time a boy. All of this she would share on social media.
One nation, under God, and the people, mercy and justice for all.
Good job.
There is one thing I have to stress about social media, and it's probably the most obvious thing you will hear. While it allows us to get a glimpse at another person's life, it is pretty much looking through a keyhole. There is a lot you do not see. This is no different for Shannon and her social media of choice, which was Facebook. You will never find sad moments, never find heartbreak or sorrow, only happy moments. What you see is a happy family vacations, Chris with his children. But in hindsight, Chris comes off a little bit camera shy and uncomfortable in these videos. Sometimes the way he looks at his wife is slightly unnerving. While Shannon is bubbly and energetic, he seems more reserved. but the way he looks sometimes is off-putting. Maybe it's just knowing what he's going to do later, but it comes off as menacing in a couple of these videos. In one, she announces to him her pregnancy.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
He seems happy in this moment, but remember when I said we see things only through a keyhole? We only see what someone wants us to see? In June of 2015, the couple filed for bankruptcy, which isn't surprising because their home was a $3,000 a month mortgage and the combined income of both was only $90,000 a year. Money was a huge strain on them, but so wasn't other things. Bitch Boy's family felt that Shannon wasn't perfect for their little angel of a son. Shannon rubbed them the wrong way, and because of this, they didn't even attend their own perfect little angel's wedding. So you can imagine the amount of arguing going on in that house. With financial issues, Shannon's health due to lupus, family not liking one another, it was probably a strain on both. But Shannon didn't show it, not on social media to friends or even family. She tried to stay strong throughout the issues they were having. But then, things became more serious when Chris became a lot more withdrawn. She would text her friends that they hadn't had sex in months. He wouldn't touch her. Nothing. He had grown distant, and this confused her. Enter Nicole Kessinger. Who is Nicole Kessinger? The most unfortunate mistress in history. Unfortunate because she had Chris's little worm in her at one point. They met in June of 2018 and spent a lot of time together, especially when Shannon took their children to North Carolina to visit their grandparents. Chris stayed home, saying he had to work, when in reality he was spending almost every day with Nicole. She was a geologist working for Anadarko at the time. Did she know he was married? Yes, but she was under the impression that he was in the middle of a messy divorce. What she didn't know was that Shannon was 15 weeks pregnant and he wasn't in the middle of a messy divorce. And Shannon did find out. A couple of days before she was murdered, Shannon went on a business trip to Arizona with a colleague named Nicole Atkinson. Chris informed her via text he was going to a Colorado Rockies game. Why? I don't know, because Colorado Rockies kind of suck, so... By the way, I don't really hate Colorado. I love you guys at Colorado. I'm just not a fan of the Colorado Rockies, so don't hate me. Don't thumbs down this video. Thank you. But he didn't go to a Colorado Rockies game. Instead, he took Nicole Kessinger out to dinner and used his joint checking account with Shannon to pay for it. They went to the Lazy Dog Sports Bar, and they spent over $60. Which Shannon, the day before returning, checked the account and saw this. And she knew how much a two-person meal was at that restaurant. So she put two and two together. But she didn't call him or text about it. She waited until she was home to call him out. She would arrive home at 1:48 a.m. on August 13th, 2018. Later that day, Shannon was supposed to go to the doctors for a checkup. Atkinson, who I'm going to use her last name in order to not confuse her with Kessinger, wanted to know how the appointment went. So she called Shannon to no answer. Feeling something was wrong, she made her way over to the home. When there was no answer, no sign of anyone, she called police. Police would arrive at the scene for a welfare check, but the home was locked tight, so Atkinson called the jack-off to come home. Chris left work, came home, and let them in. At first, his story was he didn't know what was going on. Shannon's keys, purse, and phone were in the house. Also her wedding ring, which Chris, the dipshit, found.
Does she work?
Yeah, she works from home.
Oh, from home?
She works this is her lifeline. That's us who left out the front door.
Because you told me that she went on a play date with the girls, and then
That's what she told me.
Addie said you told her that
Yeah, she went with some friends with, she went to go to a friend's house with the kids. That's why they weren't at school.
Addie said you told her that she left in the middle of the night.
Oh no, she didn't leave in the middle of the night, no.
Yeah.
She picked up and put in here.
Chris claims that the last thing that Shannon said to him was that she was going over to a friend's house with the kids, and that was the last he heard of her.
Chris Watts, WATTS.
Wow. What's going on right now around your house?
Right now it's, you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like, they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went.
By the way, if you watch the body cam footage of Chris Watts, there are times he is looking at his phone. At some of those times, he is texting Nicole Kessinger. But through his body language and questions, police were able to tell that something wasn't up with this product of bad sperm. But the smoking gun was, they had a Ring doorbell, which captured Shannon coming home, Atkinson coming to the door, but not Shannon leaving. She hadn't left the house at all. Well, not willingly. But the police noticed the next door neighbor had a camera that was pointed at Chris's house. And this is the moment where Chris's dumbassness was in full effect.
I have in the toolbox. I knew I was going to have to do some pumping into rubbers today. That's why I was out so far.
In the footage, Chris's truck is being shown being backed up partially into the garage. According to him, it was to bring tools to his truck without having to lug them down the drive. But watch him in this clip. He first looks towards the door, deep breath, then puts his hands on his head. Even if the clip only shows him loading things into the truck, he showed his hand. He proved he needed to be looked into. It wasn't very long until he was brought to the station, first with a normal interrogation, which they caught him in lies about having a mistress and caught him with a faulty alibi.
The kids to my parents' house, what does that mean? Hopefully it's someone that she trusts. Hopefully it's someone that she knows pretty well, and hopefully maybe they have a kid that Bella and Celeste can play with.
But you have no idea who that would be?
Because we've exhausted all of them, all those people.
Okay. What was the last thing? What was the last thing you saw about your daughters?
First thing I saw, like when I left, what did it look like? Saw them in the monitor as it was switching back and forth.
What's the last thing you saw with your wife?
She was laying back in bed as I was walking out the door, walking out the bedroom door.
Okay. How you feeling?
Okay,
Thanks for letting us use your phone.
no problem.
So we're trying to figure this out without sending you home with a bunch of questions, right?
Gotcha.
We'd like to be able to tell you this is our plan for tomorrow. So far it looks like some of the things we need to do with your house are better at night and some are better in the morning. So we're going to probably split the difference and start very early in the morning. Now, between now and very early is probably about 3-4 hours, right?
Okay.
Is it possible for you to not go home during that time to your house?
Okay.
Can you go straight to your friends?
I'm gonna show you my friends right here.
Okay. And then when you go straight to your friend's house, is it okay to ask that you don't go back to your house?
You just
But then they had him do a lie detector test, which isn't admissible in court because they can be faked. And Chris tried to fake it by holding his breath. The dumbass still failed.
One of the things we were talking about is, as we mentioned yesterday, just knocking out the polygraph.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that today?
Okay.
Why don't we do that now?
Okay.
Get that out of the way when you're done. This is Tammy. Did you meet Tammy yesterday?
No, that's the only one that wanted me to lie about, like, is that what you're talking about?
No, the ones about her disappearance and knowing where she's at and about seeing her last.
I was not lying about those things. So,
Can I tell you what I think?
yes.
Okay. So, going into that interview today with Tammy, where we strapped you in, we knew all about Nikki. Okay? All about her. And you're doing a very good job right now, because you didn't have to tell us about her, but you did.
I couldn't hold that in anymore.
I know. We could see it in your chest
I
and
can't.
in your eyes. Okay? Here's the challenge that we have. We knew about Nikki, and so we didn't need to ask you about her in the polygraph. We just didn't need to, because we knew, okay? And so, that's why we didn't ask you, because we already knew the answer, okay? We're very, very worried about your daughters and your wife. I am too, okay?
So he was interrogated more. But then the police let his father in, and that's where we get the next lie.
I don't want to protect her. What? I don't want to protect her.
You don't want to protect her.
I don't know what else to say.
What happened? Huh?
She hurt me.
She hurt him?
Yeah. And then I
Chris broke down to his father, then claimed that Shannon discovered his affair, killed their daughters, and he killed Shannon in a fit of rage. But after some time the truth came out. Shannon didn't kill Bella and Celeste. Chris did. So here's the part where we learn what happened that night. Get ready to hate this man even more, because holy shit is he a fucking piece of shit. So when Shannon got home that morning, they bumped uglies. Did the horizontal tango. They porked. They had sex. They fell asleep. Then they both woke up and an argument happened. Chris was telling her he wanted a divorce after he had sexual relations with her a few hours previous. She threatened to take his kids away and make sure that he never sees them. Well, he snapped and strangled her in the bedroom. That was when Bella came into the room. Looking at her dead mother, she asked her dad, whom she considered her hero and loved her with all her pure heart, what was wrong with her mother. Chris said she was sleeping. He then proceeded to wrap Shannon's body with a blanket. He got Celeste and Bella into his truck and laid their mother's dead body on the floor of the truck in front of his daughters. He drove 45 minutes out to the oil field where he worked. There, he got out of the car, walked to where Celeste was sitting, and smothered her in front of Bella. After wrapping Celeste in a blanket and taking her to an oil container, he returned. Bella asked him if the same thing was going to happen to her. She was smothered and dumped with her sister. Then Goatfucker took their mother away from the oil fields and buried her in a shallow grave. The police went to the area he told them and they found the bodies. Chris killed his daughter in front of his other daughter. He forced them to sit in the back of his truck with their mother's dead body at their feet. This wasn't a man. This monster took the lives of his family because he couldn't get his own way. If it was me, if I was Shannon's family, I would have pleaded with the court not only to throw the book at him, but bring back the electric chair in the process. Not to hook up to his head though, but to his genitals. But her family are better people than I am. They didn't want to see more death. So when Chris pled guilty for his crime, they pleaded with a judge to send him to jail for life. While some will say that this is a far worse punishment, having to spend years thinking about what he did, I disagree. I think there are far worse punishments out there than to having to sit in a cell for most of your days with healthcare and 3 meals a day. For guys like him, there should be a hole where bread and water is served and he has to shit in a bucket. But the judge agreed and he was given life in prison. He was moved out of state because of security concerns, which means that incarcerated people with him would either kill him or want to rape him. So he is now held at the Dodge Correctional Institution at Waupun, Wisconsin. I am not sure how long ago this was, but he stated in an interview that he had been thinking about killing his wife long before he did, which truly proves that he is a piece of shit. Fun thing is, he isn't the worst family annihilator. When I come back to this series on the 19th of January, I'm going to be talking about the worst, John List. I am not going to leave this off with bad feelings. So I'm hoping that everybody had a good Christmas, and wish everybody well in the new year. Here's hoping the coof gets cured by then, because I am getting sick of sitting at home all the time. But Happy New Year. Coming up is a lot of cool stuff for this channel. I am going to discuss Dimebag Daryl Abbott, Dumb Criminal Files, John List, Sarah Ann Wood, and others. In August is the return of the Annihilators series, followed by September's Mystery Month. Then Halloween season this year is Cryptids. It's going to be a fun year. Happy New Year!